And just something really, really funny. You know, one of our friends came to Florida and I was hanging out with him and he's like, I said, let's go here. He goes, oh, I can't afford that. Or, you know, let's do this. And he acts like he's in poverty. Okay. Meanwhile, he's driving a $100,000 vehicle. He has 2 houses. And I'm like, dude, you know, I was like, why do you think you're not doing well? He goes, no, times are tough now, you know, and I agree. Times are tough for a lot of people. It doesn't matter, you know, like I'm a big believer. If you're making $5,000 a month and you're spending 6, you're in trouble. If you're making $5 million a month and you're spending 6 million, you're in trouble.
Even bigger trouble.
So it all depends on what you're used to. But I'm like, you know, we're sitting down having lunch and I'm saying, dude, you're doing good. He's like, what makes you think I'm doing good? So I was like, all right, let's come up with a list. How do people know if they're thriving or not?
Okay.
Like he was looking at a house and I'm like, you could afford that house. He's like, I don't know if I could afford that house, you know, because he was thinking about moving to Florida. I was like, let's talk about it. Okay. Let's come up with a list and to see if you are financially good or not. Okay. So tell us what you guys think of this list. In the meantime, if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. It's greatly appreciated. So here's some things I jotted down with him, okay? You spend less than you earn.
Meaning like a week or a month or a year?
So you consistently live below the means and don't rely on credit cards to cover your daily expenses.
Oh, you're a millionaire then at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so but if you're using your credit cards to buy groceries, yeah, you might be in trouble.
Well, but here's the one thing: if you're using your credit card and you're paying it on the 29th day of the month, so there's no interest, and you're doing that because
I do that
because you're trying to track everying that
goes. I do that. I have a business credit card and personal.
And if you're trying to track it all, then it's okay to use the card. But if you're like, hey, I'm gonna go to buy a case of beer or whatever it is, and you're buying it on that, and you don't have cash, that's
well.
Stupid.
At the end of the day, he has surplus of money. Yeah. Okay. So I asked them the next question, okay? You have a fully funded emergency fund. So do you have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved up in case of a job loss or unexpected cost?
I actually think that number is low, 3 to 6 months.
I know, but that's what they're saying.
I know,
you know, this is not a financial channel. I'm not a financial advisor, but that's what, when we looked it up.
Yeah, no, that's what they come up with. But I
3 to 6 months.
I always say have 6 to maybe 10 months. Then you're at least I don't want to say comfortable, but if the shit hits the fan, you got a couple.
But there's some people that have like 2 weeks.
People that got 1 day.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just. Emergency funds are important, and when I was younger, I mean, I didn't have it, now things are better, because I saved over time.
Yeah, that's it.
And I feel like as I get older, tell me if you feel, I don't need as much.
No, you know what it is? It's like, now, there's like, I'm wearing the same clothes for like the last 4 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never buy clothes. Like, I just could care less. But I'm weird when it comes to stupid things like I'll buy a new set of microphones or I'll buy a new camera.
Don't tell me about microphones and camera. I keep buying those stuff.
But I'm not about anything else, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not looking to buy a new big screen TV or a couch or...
I hate shopping.
Yeah, so do I. I can't stand it.
I hate shopping and stuff. And I could buy clothes within seconds and get out.
Yeah, I can walk and go, that shirt is that size, give it to me.
But at the same time, I just don't get the pleasure of okay, I got my trucks, I got boat, house,
But I think, like myself, you were always like that.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm not trying to impress anybody.
Nah, you would just, put it this way, through life, and I've known you your whole damn life, since we're little kids, you're exactly the same. Like, you're who you are. Like, I could not see you for 20 years, and then I see you, and you're Jimmy.
I'm not, that's the whole thing is, so I agree, I would agree with Ange too, maybe 6 months to a year would be really cool. So he has that, okay? So he has that, so he's good there. So then, you're debt-free. You have a manageable debt. Your debt is under control. You have loans, but they're being paid off aggressively and strategically. So basically what it means by that, even I have a loan because I need credit.
Yeah.
And, because just in case of emergency, you have credit and stuff. But are you struggling to make that car payment, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having loans. I'm not a big believer in buy now, pay later kind of thing because people put that off.
And then they get hit with all that interest for that whole time.
Like you read an article about credit card that was like 1.5 trillion, you said, in credit card debt?
Yeah, it's insane, yeah.
And 29%
interest, yeah. Even going up higher now.
So we're going off the next one that I asked him. I said, listen, when you have a credit card debt, are you paying it off every month? Like me, I have a business card and I have a personal card, so I write off expenses. And every month I pay it off. And I asked him, I said, do you pay it off every month? Yes. Okay, so if you're paying minimum payments, I guess
you're going to be paying it for 60 years.
Like, do you do that too?
I only have one loan in my name.
Okay.
Not meaning like in my name, like they're in anyone else's name. Meaning like I only have one outstanding debt, and it's my truck, and that's it. I don't owe any money on anything. I mean, okay, yeah, I owe the cell phone bill, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's a recurring.
Yeah, that's a recurring thing. But the only thing I pay monthly is my car payment, and that's it.
So the next question I asked him is like, what's your credit score, to buy this house, and he says it's over 750. So if you have a strong credit, okay, you're 750. Well, his was actually 810, he said.
I mean, that's insane. The guy should be getting like 0% interest on everything.
So I'm like, all right, so far, you crime poverty compared to some other people. And, I think that's you're not being realistic.
But here's the thing, you know what? I applaud whoever this is, and I probably know him if you're saying we grew up with him. But, that he thinks like that. That, like I think like that, like all the time. I also think like what, I can lose my job, so to speak, at any given time. And what's my backup plan?
Yeah.
I don't ever think I'm rich. I'm poor my whole life. I'm a hundredaire, meaning like I only got $100 to my name.
Everybody says, he goes, I always cry poverty.
Yeah.
It's like, you always cry poverty, you always cry poverty.
Yeah, I mean, look at billionaires, how they dress. They dress like you and me.
So I asked him next, it's like, do you regularly invest in your future? He's like, yeah, I contribute to my 401k, IRA, and I some other stuff. I'm like, okay, most people don't have that stuff.
They got zero. They got Social Security, and that's it.
So I told him, I said, so boo-hoo so far. Do you have any appreciating assets? I was like, he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I said homes. He goes, yeah, I got 2 homes. I have stocks, I have investments that grow over time. All right, so you have 2 homes, and one of them is in New York, and the other one is in Pennsylvania. So I'm like,
so they're both worth a decent penny.
Yeah, and the one in New York I know is worth over $1 million, and he has no mortgage on it.
And he probably paid a lot less than that for it.
So he's still crying poverty. I was like, okay. So I mean, people watching this, see if this sounds familiar. You have multiple streams of income. You're not solely reliant on a paycheck, whether it's investment side, hustle, or passive income. Okay. So he has a job. He's a consultant. So he's self-employed, but he's also making money from his investments. The one in Pennsylvania, he's renting.
Okay.
So he's getting rental income. This one over here, he says, well, when I'm not down here, I'll Airbnb it. So it's income.
Making something on it, yeah.
So I still don't feel for him, okay? You feel in control of your money. I said, are you stressed? I asked him, are you stressed about paying your bills every month? He's like, no, but I don't want to become stressed about paying the bills. So I said, all right, that's a big sign. Most people are stressed about paying the bills. I know people that renting, and they're like, I don't know how I'm going to pay my next rent.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, I understand. I mean, I've been in that position before, early on in life. I get it.
Like, all right. And then I asked him, can you afford to go on vacation? Because you're on vacation right now. He's like, yeah. Are you worried about how much debt it's going to be? He's like, well, I'm not going to go crazy. So it's like, like I'm going to go to Greece, in a couple of months. And I can go to Greece and spend $20,000, $30,000 to go first class airlines and stay at the highest hotels, travel all over Greece.
And get nothing for it.
Or I can just book an economy ticket, go to Greece, stay at my house or stay with relatives or just travel, stay some more. And that's what I told him. I said, he said, would that stress you out? I was like, no. I said, dude, you could buy this house. I was like, everything you told me, you're not really stressing. Like,
And if he like, here's the other thing too. Most people, especially because he owns his own business, like that could become an asset to him. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of people go, I know a little bit about this, not a lot, just a little bit, enough to be dangerous. Like a lot of people go and they get, like they'll get a 30-year mortgage, you know, at 4%. And they get and if you look at like a 15-year mortgage, say at 7%, which one would you take? The majority of people are going to go, give me the 30-year at 7. Now, I'm good with math. There's about a $40,000 to $50,000 difference that you're going to save over the lifetime if you took the 15-year at 7%. You're going to save money. So people don't see a lot of things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so he owns a business, he does stuff. So if he bought a house down here, how much is the house going to cost him? Anywhere between $200,000 and $350,000. You know what I mean? If he drops some money on it, he can rent it out, Airbnb it. He will literally, especially if, you know, he'll make money.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, let's talk about a house, okay? The mortgage, yeah, if you get a fixed rate, that's your mortgage, but you still, if you're an HOA, that's going to go up. Okay?
Oh yeah.
Property taxes, that's going to go up. Insurance is going to go up. Utilities is going to go up. The only fixed cost you have is the mortgage.
Yeah, because that'll stay exactly where it's at for the life of the loan.
And the first few years of your mortgage
10 years probably
is all interest.
Interest, yeah. Especially you're going to drop like hundreds of thousands if you think about it on some things. Yeah.
But there's people that are struggling, you know, and they want to buy a house, you know, or they want to do it, and they're struggling from, you know, and trust me, I feel I was there in my life. It's not like, you know, I had it easy my whole life, you know?
Oh, and I know you your whole life, so yeah. I know you've had your ups and your downs.
Yeah, now, you know, believe it or not, I'm going to be pushing 60 soon, you know?
I mean, I can't believe you're 10 years older than I am.
Yeah. No, actually, I'm turning 58. You know, but I mean, that's it. I mean, it's just like he's not struggling, and a lot of people out there, you know, watching this video, they're probably like, you know what, I'm having a hard time. And if you really sit back and just look at everything you have, or your living situation, or your house, it might not be as bad as you think.
No, and the other thing too is a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of corners, I'll say corners you can cut. And it's not that, like, you know, for argument's sake, cell phones. Like, if you have, I don't want to name any cell phone carrier, but most people are paying at least $150 a month for a cell phone, right? And if you really take a look at it, I happen to know for a fact, because I'm going to wind up doing it myself, like Spectrum has, I don't know if it's in every state, but I know here, you can get, if you have Spectrum.
It's a cable company.
Yeah, you can get a Spectrum cell phone, which is perfect coverage, because I know someone who has it, and it works just as good as the company I'm using, and it's only $30 a month. My cell phone bill is $150 a month for the same exact thing this person has.
Yeah, I have 5 phones on my cell phone.
Yeah, but you're also a corporation, you know, like, so it's a big difference. I'm just talking personal, you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't really use my phone that much. Honestly, I don't. Because I don't really go anywhere. Most of the time, if I'm on the internet, I'm not burning like the Wi-Fi stuff, because I'm going through the Wi-Fi in my house. So I'm already paying $100 a month for my internet, and I'm paying $150 for my cell phone, which I talked to you this morning, but we didn't talk. You know what I'm saying? You sent me a text, and it's like I'm paying all this money for nothing. And I was in my house 99% of the time. For me, I can't speak for everyone, just for me, is I'm home. So why am I paying $150 a month?
But that's what I'm saying is,
or your Netflix, or your Apple Pay. You know,
a lot of people feel that they're destitute, but if you really sit down and think about it, maybe you're not, or maybe you are.
There's, without a doubt, there's a lot of people who are. And now I'm going to do a quick plug, even though we're not making any money from it or anything, but it's like, you see those Rocket commercials, the app where it says, you know, cancel, you have 14 Netflix accounts. It's like, get that thing, honestly, and put it in your phone and put your information in.
Yeah, I need that.
And it'll check everything you have.
I think I'm still paying for, I think I'm still paying for class.com.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I mean? And it tells you, and you'd be surprised how many people don't realize that, like, they have Netflix or Disney or whatever it is. I'm not trying to point out any company company, like, disparage them. But I'm saying people will forget because they haven't used it for a while, and then they go, oh, new show on Netflix, I want to see it, and they instantly go sign up again. The best is a gym membership. Everybody's hot in the pants to join the gym.
January, yeah.
And then they never go for the next 11 months, but they pay it for forever. I mean, I myself, I'm victim of that.
Yeah, but I never joined the gym, so I already knew.
I've done it. You know what I'm saying?
I already knew not to go to the gym.
I've done it. And the crazy thing was, I'm a sucker. I had 3 Netflix accounts, and I didn't even know it. And I was paying for 3. And the problem is I had multiple emails to my name. And I signed one up under this email, one under this one.
I keep saying to myself, my credit card's going to expire. But then they get the new credit card number somehow,
Oh, well, I just had a problem recently where I had some fraud against me, in the bank. So they sent me all new debit cards, credit cards, everything. And I was paying for a service online that I used when I'm working, so I haven't worked in a while, so I didn't need it. And I had canceled it. And just last month, all of a sudden, I'm looking at my bank statement, and there's that service for $69. And I'm like, what the hell is this? They actually had my old card number, and the old debit card number, and they billed it, and the bank approved it.
Wow.
And so I just had to go through the bank, and the bank just sent me all new cards again. I mean, no, thank God. The bank got me my money back, but it was just like, holy cow. I mean, you really got to be up on that stuff. And that app from Rocket something, Rocket Bank, Rocket whatever, you see the commercials for it all the time.
Yeah. Anyways, what do you guys think? You think, I know a lot of people are destitute, and, there's ways out of it, I think,
Yeah, don't buy the $5 coffee.
Yeah, that's true.
Every day,
But, if you want to buy a house at the end of the day, you just work around them. Set it as a goal and just figure out what you got to do to do it. Sit down with somebody that, is a financial advisor or a really smart realtor and, have them look for the right house for you. But
you could do it because in the long run, you would say rent will cost you more and you own nothing at the end.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's today's video. Do me a favor. If you like this kind of content, consider subscribing and check out this video right here. I picked it just for you guys, and I will talk to you guys on the next video. Thank you and have a great day.